Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And as always, if you want to call in or ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight. And today, we're going to talk about the Beeb. The Beeb pulls another big interview with Bob Arum. Beeb, you slaying the interview, son. Bob Arum's boy right there.
Needed answers. There were questions that had to be asked.
That's right. Hey, and you know who asked him? The Beeb.
How to do it.
There it is.
How to do it.
We're going to talk about Wilder versus Fury. The pay-per-view numbers are in, but are they accurate? I don't know.
Well,
we'll see.
They're not completed yet. Let's just say that.
There you go. But first, we get started with DAZN. Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. Beeb, this was for the WBC Diamond Belt.
Yep.
Which you can incidentally buy on eBay. There you go, and that's how good that belt is. Mikey Garcia wins a unanimous decision over Jesse Vargas by the scores of 114-113, 116-111 twice. Tell you what, man, I was really impressed with Mikey Garcia in this fight. After losing every round to Errol Spence and then to come out and do what he did here, that's a big-time performance, man. Garcia started out slow. I was giving the early rounds to Vargas. Vargas definitely came to fight. But the tide seemed to turn in the fifth round, and that's when Garcia started landing at will. He dropped Vargas with a big right hand. I thought the fight was going to be stopped, but credit to Jesse Vargas, man. He's a warrior. The biggest thing that always impresses me with Mikey Garcia is his ability to adapt and make adjustments through the fight. After the fight, Mikey Garcia called out a rematch with Errol Spence. Good luck with that one. Or a fight with Manny Pacquiao. I don't have much interest in a Spence fight, but the Pacquiao-Garcia fight makes a lot of sense to me. Ideally, I'd like to see him fight Crawford, but let's face it, that fight ain't happening. B, what were your thoughts on Mikey Garcia?
I think he had his moments. I thought he looked good, but he looked so small in there compared to Jesse Vargas. And early on, you could see how Jesse Vargas, when he was aggressive, he was able to push Garcia back and kind of put him on the back foot a little bit. Garcia did make some adjustments. He started straightening the right hand a little bit better because he saw that Vargas was looping a lot of his shots. Particularly, he was throwing the looping right hand, and it was actually scoring because Garcia has a tendency to put his hands high in front of his face, right around his eyes a lot of times. And the only way you're going to hit him is throw looping shots. And Vargas was very successful doing that. He was very successful throwing the looping right hand. But as you said, Garcia picks up on things. He collects data in there, and he makes adjustments as the fight goes on. And that's when he started seeing that, and he started throwing a dart of a right hand down the pike. And those shots, one thing I have to say that did surprise me about Garcia is how he was able to hurt Vargas every time he hit him clean. You could see how he would really knock him off kilter. And obviously we don't score facial damage, but you could see the damage in Garcia. Like, his face was bleeding from a couple places. Not Garcia, but Vargas, excuse me. You can see how Vargas' face was bleeding from a couple places. So I think it wasn't a bad performance. And again, Vargas is that type of guy where he's going to hang in there. I don't think I've ever seen anyone blow Vargas out. He comes to fight. He's a tough guy, and he brings it every time. But the problem with Vargas is he tends to fade down the stretch. He always gets off to a fast start, and then he tends to fade. He faded in the Broner fight because he had that fight well in hand in the first half of the fight. And then, he allowed Broner to creep back up in that fight. Even when he fought Josecito Lopez, got off to a real good start, and then he faded in the back six. So this is kind of like his MO. But I will say, I gave him the 9th. I thought he came back in the 9th, and I thought he won the 11th. And the 12th I also gave him, but the 12th definitely could have gone either way. So I actually had this fight even in rounds, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
My scorecard was just like the other judge that had it 114 and 113. Now, like you could easily have it 8. Again, there was
I
a
had
couple.
it 8-4. Yeah,
There was
I
a
had it
couple swing
8-4.
rounds in there. It's not impossible to score it 8-4. I think the general consensus scorecard out there was like 7-5. So a lot of guys on Twitter were telling me they had it 115 and 112 for Garcia. But Vargas was definitely live in this fight. He was definitely live in this fight. He had a shot, but the question was, would he be able to, sustain the fast pace through the whole course of the 12 rounds? And I think now we're starting to see that Vargas looks to be somewhat of a front runner in the sense that he's definitely has that lapse in those middle rounds. And even in the Bradley fight, he had those laps in the middle rounds, but then he came back in the 12th. So it's so funny how he'll give away like rounds 5 to like 9 or whatever, or 5 to 8, and then he'll just like wake up in during the championship rounds. It's almost like he takes that break in the middle rounds for whatever reason to get a second win. But again, what I did take away from this fight is I do not think that Mikey Garcia is going to be a force at welterweight. I just don't see him beating Crawford. There's a lot of guys I just don't see him beating.
You don't think he beats Pacquiao?
No.
I mean, you don't give him any shot though to beat Pacquiao?
Honestly,
I mean, listen.
I'm pretty confident Pacquiao wins that fight. I'm not going to lie to you.
I wouldn't bet the farm on that fight, put it that way.
Well, I mean, look what Pacquiao did. Like, everyone was right. Like, you can't write Pacquiao off. Garcia's not.
No.
You know the types of opponents that give Pacquiao problems is the guys that can hurt him with the right hand. He's going to get hit with the right hand, but you're going to have to hurt him with the right hand. You're going to have to really.
You don't think Garcia
damage.
can hurt him with that right hand?
Thurman really couldn't do it. So I mean, I he took the right hands well against a bigger guy in Thurman who's a full-fledged welterweight. Mm-hmm. So if you can't knock him off balance and push him back with the right hand and really disrupt his rhythm, I don't think you're going to beat him. And Garcia doesn't bring the volume that Pacquiao brings. Pacquiao. Everyone keeps saying, well, Pacquiao's a small welterweight, and it gives them a sense of hope. But Pacquiao's been fighting guys a lot bigger than him his whole career, and he's been able to handle them. So I don't know.
He has. I mean, but you got to think that Father Time's got to catch up to Pacquiao at some point. But then again, man, who knows? I tell you what, that guy.
I think Pacquiao beats Mikey Garcia.
I think it's a good fight, though. I mean, no matter who wins or what happens, I think that's a real good fight.
Do I think he blows him out? No, but he could do better. Like, it could be a little bit more dominant than people think, in my opinion.
Well, they're talking about that fight taking place. I know Eddie Hearn has mentioned that he wants that fight to take place in Saudi Arabia. They're going to try to make that fight happen in Saudi Arabia. He likes Saudi Arabia. I mean, they're going to pay out a lot of money to see Pacquiao. Pacquiao doesn't like to fight in the States either, I guess because of taxes and everything like that. Yeah. He doesn't like to fight in the States. So Saudi Arabia would make sense. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I don't hate the fight, but I don't understand, like, the logic behind the fight. Like,
he's a big-name opponent. They're both big-name opponents. They're both big-name guys. Garcia's a big-name guy. Has been on pay-per-view. Manny Pacquiao, of course, been on pay-per-view many times. It's a big-time fight. You take this fight to Saudi Arabia where they're going to pay you just a ton of money to get a guy like Pacquiao there.
And
it's a competitive fight, let's face it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like this is not a competitive fight. This is one of those fights that I honestly could see going either way. And I can't believe I'm saying this, about Pacquiao 20 years after I shouldn't be saying it about Pacquiao,
Hey, listen, the odds will probably reflect your opinion more so than my opinion.
Sure. I expect that Garcia will probably be the favorite.
Maybe an even money fight.
Maybe.
I don't think it'll be favored. I think it'll be sort of like Wilder Fury was, similar odds.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a close, it's a pick'em type of fight, man, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what Pacquiao you're going to get because everybody's waited for this guy to get old, and with Thurman, like I said, I picked Thurman in that fight.
Yeah, I picked Pacquiao in that fight too.
Right. But with that fight though, you still had that that thing with Thurman, like, you know, maybe he's not going to be there. Maybe mentally he's just not there. Maybe, you know, and, you know, that was a competitive fight. I mean, it really was. I mean, that was a competitive fight. And Pacquiao, at times in that fight, looked his age. At times in that fight. The middle rounds, when Thurman was hitting him flush, you know, he looked his age.
Came back so strong, though. Came back so strong.
He did. And he started strong. Knocked him down in the first round.
Yeah.
Set the tone. Completely set the tone in that fight. Yeah. You know, but I think it's a great fight. JC in the chat. First of all, shout out to Greg Waters here. He said, hello from Newcastle, England. I love the show. Watch loads of boxing on YouTube, and this is the best. Take care. Thank you so much and for watching us in England. We're, 5 or 6 hours ahead? So it's well into the early morning hours over there. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Greg Waters. JC says that Mikey's got a chin. And he says he thinks that people underestimate his chin. You know, listen, man, this is a guy that went 12 rounds with Errol Spence. Jesse Vargas can punch too. And he took some big shots. He took some shots yesterday early from Jesse Vargas. And he didn't go anywhere. Mikey's got a chin. Mikey has definitely got a chin. So you don't like the Pacquiao Garcia fight. You think he should move down. But who does he fight there? Who's a big money fight for him there?
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I get it from Garcia's standpoint why he wants to fight Pacquiao. It's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight for him. It's not a bad fight for him financially, and it's not a type of fight. It's a fight where he can lose but not get hurt, really, right, and not get dominated like Spence. So I'm just saying, general interest. I just don't like. I don't see like the. I don't know. I just don't see all the. I don't see the desire behind the fight from a fan standpoint. Like who wants this fight? Like you know, you want to see Fury Joshua. Like you want to see Spence Crawford. Like this isn't a matchup that like really piques my interest. That like really? That's like when I look at this fight, I'm like saying it doesn't have like. I don't think there's a ton of significance here for this fight. Like,
I love this fight.
What has Garcia done at welterweight to show that, you know, he belongs there? Like,
well, who would you put in? Let me ask you this: since you don't like that fight, I love the fight incidentally, but since you don't like that fight, who would you put against Garcia or not Garcia? Who would you put against Pacquiao? Because
honestly,
again,
I'd like to see Pacquiao fight Danny Garcia.
Really? See, that fight doesn't interest me at all.
I'd like to see Pacquiao. I'd like to see Pacquiao fight Sean Porter.
That's a decent fight.
I like that fight.
That's a decent fight.
I think those fights, honestly, those fights will probably be more entertaining than this fight. Like,
but he's not with PBC anymore, is he?
No, he's not. That's the problem.
I
don't know if he's not. I think he's
free agent or something. I think Eddie Hearn's trying to pick him up.
Yeah.
And which DAZN probably will.
Yeah. Well, Pacquiao said he wants Crawford too. He says he wants Crawford now too. He called out Crawford.
Oh, well, that, you know, listen, man, I like that fight. I like that fight. I think that's a good passing of the torch fight. I
still don't think that Pacquiao won't fight PBC fighters. I think that we can see cross promotion now.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about that other side of the street bullshit anymore.
Well, I am when it comes to Crawford.
Well,
you know,
not Crawford, but Spence. Spence is the guy that's always dropping that other side of the street excuse. You know what's so funny? He posted. Did you see what he posted on his Instagram?
What?
Because he was sitting next to like all top ranked guys.
I saw that.
You see what he posted?
That during the Fury fight?
Yeah.
And they showed Spence in the middle.
Yeah, and he's like, who the hell set me next to all these top ranked dudes? How did I get stuck here? This is funny, man.
Spence just had that weird look on his face, like, oh man. Boxing Freak 91 says Mikey's a businessman first and a fighter second.
Oh, it makes sense.
I think they all are. I got to be honest. I think most of them are, man. I mean,
of course.
I guess when you get to that level and you're taking those kind of shots, I mean, I guess you kind of have to, you know.
It makes sense for Garcia to want this fight.
He's the money man. I mean, it really is. At welterweight right now, he's the money guy.
But unless Pacquiao's getting a boatload of money, it really doesn't make sense for him to want this fight. Because what does Garcia offer him?
Well, and I think he does get a boatload of money for this.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I think he does get a boatload of money for this.
It seems like this is a fight that the promoters want to make, and if Saudi is interested in the fight, then it's quite possible it's going to get made.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, because, look what they did for the Joshua fight, I mean, they put down a ton. They built a stadium for it, like a makeshift. I don't even know if it was a temporary structure, I think.
Yeah.
They put together out there. I think it was temporary, maybe not. I don't know. But I know they threw it together in no time flat. It's insane. Just insane. So, yeah, we'll find out hopefully in the coming weeks what happens there. Let's move on here, man. I don't even know what to say about this next fight, man. You kind of go through the gambit of emotions with this one, man. Like, you're upset with Cal Yafai by the way he fought, but how can you not help but feel great for Chocolatito?
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. That was like, that's one of those things. It's kind of like why you watch boxing. That fight was really, to me, like why you watch boxing and what makes the sport great.
That's comeback of the year right now.
You got this guy who was in 2017 knocked out cold. Really lost 2 decisions. I mean, really, like I said, he lost that first fight against Rung Visai, and then he came back, got knocked out, in like really dramatic fashion. Yeah. Now, he's had 2 fights since then. But they were just like comeback fights. I know the guy he fought, and he had been around the block. He was a good fighter at the time, and I can't remember his name. But the next guy he fought before this guy, again, he had 2 fights that were just kind of comeback fights, man. But this was shocking, man. Cal Yafai versus Chocolatito Gonzalez for the WBA super flyweight title. Chocolatito Gonzalez wins by KO in the 9th. To win the WBA super flyweight title. I'll tell you, in my wildest dreams, man, I didn't see this outcome.
Yeah, my friend actually texted me before the fight on Twitter, and he liked Gonzalez.
I think Sean Newton took Gonzalez too.
A lot of people liked Gonzalez. But strangely enough, a lot of UK people liked Gonzalez in this fight too.
Right.
A lot of people weren't sold. A lot of people weren't sold and aren't sold on Yafai.
Sean Newton said it in the chat a couple of weeks ago that he thought Gonzalez was going to beat Yafai.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a solid fight, like a coming out party, I think, for Yafai.
This was supposed to be a 50-50 fight on paper.
But Yafai, I mean, for him, he's been criticized, like I said, he hasn't looked that great in his last fight or whatever, or his last 2 fights or, something like that. And the thing is that, this is a guy, this was supposed to be like his coming out party. He was supposed to beat Chocolatito, and now he's on the map. And, coming out, beating an aging former champ, didn't work out that way, man. From the beginning, man, Yafai chose to stay inside. He tried to trade with Chocolatito. And I don't know why he did that for the life of me, but he definitely paid for it.
I think I know why he did it.
I gave the first round to Yafai, and that was pretty much it.
That's it.
Chocolatito completely dominated this fight. He was tagging Yafai with the harder punches. He started backing him up. And before you knew it, Yafai had no answers. He was dead tired. Yafai's corner was pleading with him to stick to the game plan, box from the outside. For whatever reason, Yafai was having none of it, man. Like I said, I mentioned before, Chocolatito was on that 2-fight win streak. But again, they were confidence builders to kind of get back fights, man. And I'll be honest, man, I kind of wrote him off, man. I didn't think he had much after the 2 losses to Rung Visai. And I say 2 losses because I thought he, like I said, man, I mean, he lost, lost both of them. But, I was wrong, man. He looked great. And this may not set up a rematch. This may set up a rematch now with Juan Francisco Estrada. And who would have thought we'd be saying that?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Why did Cal Yafai, first of all, why did Cal Yafai stay in the pocket like that?
Because he wanted to stop him. He wanted to make a statement. He wanted to fight, and he didn't want to get criticized for running. because that's what people say now. Whenever you try to box from the outside, they call you a runner. He didn't want to be accused of that, in my opinion. He knew he was in front of a huge audience. He knew this was supposed to be his breakout fight, and he wanted his breakout fight to be fought and won, making a statement. The problem is, if you're going to stay on the inside with Gonzalez, you have to knock him off his square. You can't let him you can't just allow him to set, plant his feet, and just run those combinations on the inside. You can't. You have to move him a little bit. You have to lean on him a little bit. You have to nudge him. You have to push him and knock him off balance. You have to get physical with them, which Rungvisai did. Rungvisai got a little physical with them.
Yeah.
And obviously, Kayafai is not as big as Rungvisai, probably maybe not as strong. But if you're gonna get in the kitchen with him, you can't allow him to just set up shop like that and plant and just get his feet set like that and give him allow him to operate in his comfort zone like that and not knock him off balance. You know what I mean? You got to disrupt his rhythm, because when he's able to just run those combinations and you're going to stand straight in front of him and not make yourself a compact target, not move your head off to the side, not, put your head and lean on his shoulder at all. You got to be a little bit more strategic in it. This is why I love, like what Andre Ward said this one time. He goes, a lot of people can fight on the inside, but a lot of people don't know how to defend on the inside.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense, because defending on the inside, and I've said this a lot of time, is not more so excessive movement on the inside. It's body positioning, making yourself a compact target, and just creating angles on the inside. Body positioning, not staying in the center, positioning yourself on an angle, and where you can rip your shots, keeping your head off to the side, where it's not going to be in the line of fire from your opponent's oncoming shots, and you're able to dig your shots. So you got to go in there, get low, boom, boom. If I was just standing there going like this, and once I seen him do that, I said, oh, game over, baby. Pick is changed.
Yeah, and
once I saw
between rounds,
the third round, I said, Beeb, you ain't winning this. You're not getting this pick right, Beeb. You're done.
Yeah,
I said that after the third round. I said that's over.
That was
it's
it.
Over.
That was it, man.
It's over.
And, I tell you what, in his corner was saying, box him, man. I mean, and I don't understand.
But here's the problem.
Why?
Once, even us in our regular day lives, once you get something in your head that you want to do something.
Yeah.
I know I've done this before too.
I've done it plenty of times.
I said, okay, I want to do this, and then I'll start doing it, and it's not working. And I say, fuck it, I already started. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to do it this way. I don't care.
Right.
I think sometimes boxers do that.
They have to.
Boxers are stubborn.
But, I mean, he just completely abandoned the game plan from round one. It just stood in the pocket with him.
Well, we don't know what... Well...
Because they were telling him to box.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, they said stick to the game plan and box. That was their instruction. And so it looked to me, like I said, listen, I'm not in camp. I don't know. But it looked to me like they just said, look, this is the way we want to box him. And he said, okay. As soon as that bell rang, he's in that guy's chest, completely disregarding everything that was going on.
Yeah.
It was insane, man.
Yeah.
Just insane.
And then he was smothering his own punches too. I mean, it was just...
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Because you're going to go deep in there and you stay and you're staying straight center line. You have no where to punch. You have no angle. So if you're going to go that deep in, you have to dip off to the side, because then you could throw the wraparounds. You know what I mean? Then you can come up underneath and boom like this. You can't do anything if you're straight here.
No. And he wasn't moving. He wasn't moving his head. He wasn't moving anything. He was getting tagged at will. I mean, he really was. He was getting tagged at will in there.
I mean, it's just like when you're hitting a heavy bag and you're ripping shots to the body. You're leaning to that side so you can dig that shot into the bag and create that and get leverage so you can throw the shot properly. When you stand in front of a heavy bag, do you go like this? You're always
moving.
You're not gonna generate any power or get any leverage on your shots. But he was standing right there, going like this, and Chocolatito was doing the opposite. He was like, rah, 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 rah,
was all over the place.
He was all over the place.
You can't.
But his feet were kind of like, just making subtle steps with his feet.
Good angles. He had good angles throughout the fight, man. You noticed it when you watch his feet. He would plant. He was never square. He was always punching with angles. And when he got hot around that third round, that's when you knew, man. Like you saw, and he was. He just had no footwork. Yafai had nothing, man.
That's his sweet
spot. And that's a guy who's known. He can box.
That's his sweet spot right there too.
Wow,
man. You gave him the best opportunity to win by fighting that fight. It's like when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Roberto Duran like that.
Yeah.
Same thing.
First fight, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, like I said, man, I don't know what he was thinking. I honestly don't know what he was thinking. Especially, and by the time if he wanted to change, he was already done. He was too tired. You watched him and you could see in his corner he was breathing too heavy. Next thing you know, boom, he's on the deck. Nothing he can do, man. Nothing he can do. I guess, so Chocolatito, the obvious choice next for me anyway would be him versus Francisco Estrada, that rematch.
Yeah.
I like that fight a lot. I think that, now anyway, I like that fight a lot. But I don't know, man. What about, I'd like to see him and maybe Rungvisai again. Who knows? Rungvisai is coming back here shortly. This is a guy who again was all but out, and now is right back in the mix.
I thought he was too small for this division too, but prove me wrong.
He looked good, man. He looked really good.
It's nice to be proven.
Let me ask you a question. You think he's a Hall of Famer?
When it's all said and done, he may get in there.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think
he's a Hall of Famer, no question. For what he did last night. For what he's done in his career, yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
MB in the chat saying Yafai has a rematch clause. Should he or will he take it?
Yafai has a rematch. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? No. No, he's not going to take it. But I guarantee Yafai came in. He woke up this morning and probably watched that tape again and was just probably regretting what he did and not listening and everything like that. Sean Newton in the chat here, he says he agrees with me. He said Roman is definitely a Hall of Famer because I'm his favorite host, of course. But he also says that he likes Donnie Nietes next for Roman. Listen, I want to see Roman fight again, period. End of story. I don't care who he fights. Donnie Nietes is a good fight for him. Estrada, Rungvisai again. I don't care, man. Listen, man, I want to see that guy again. That was one of those things you watch and you're just like amazed that it went down like that.
Yeah.
JC said, Yafai's probably saying I'm a stupid lad right about now. Yeah, absolutely. Who would? Chocolate Doritos is not our. Come on, Wood. Come on. You know he's a Hall of Famer, son.
Hey, shout out to the people, these new members in the chat, man. I've seen some new names in the chat. I just want to thank you guys for supporting and subscribing. Spread the word for us too, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. History Vault says he's absolutely a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, he'll get in, and I won't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it.
Sean Newton says Yafai is moving up a weight next. Hey, Sean, let me ask you something, man. Do you think was he weight drained last night? Is that because of his performance last night, or was he just outgunned last night? I'd like to hear his opinion because I believe, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had Chocolatito for a couple of weeks now. A couple of weeks ago, I remember him in the chat, and I thought he said that Chocolatito was going to win this fight. So I think he had actually picked Chocolatito for this fight. But like you said, man, a lot of people pick Chocolatito, and I was thinking to myself, why? Are you serious? Against Yafai, man? No way. Shows you how much I know about it. Tell you that. It was insane, man.
Yeah.
What a fight.
It was a good fight.
It was. It was a great fight, man. And you got, like I said, man, you got to feel good for him. You got to feel good for him.
Absolutely.
Sean Newton says, Yafai said he was in great shape. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hey. JC says, come on, Eric, he's from Nicaragua.
Yo, did you see what Matchroom did? You see what Matchroom did? The YouTube channel when they were promoting the fight, right?
They play Sweet Caroline in Spanish?
No. They put Chocolatito and Yafai on a poster, and they had like a Mexican flag there, thinking that like Chocolatito was Mexican and he's Nicaraguan. Yeah, they fucked up.
Oh, come on, for real?
Yeah, D-Style sent it to me.
What do we all look alike now? I guess we all look alike.
Isn't that horrible?
We all look alike now. If you're just dark, you're Mexican. We're all Mexicans now. Just all dark people. It doesn't matter. Nicaragua, whatever. You're all grouped in as Mexicans now.
That's fucked up, right?
What's up with that?
Yeah, it's not cool.
What's up with that? Unreal, man. Oh, Outlaw's been watching since episode 1, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's see here. All right, so a fight that I didn't catch, I didn't get a chance to watch it, man. Julio Cesar Martinez versus Jay Harris for the WBC flyweight title. Listen, man, I heard a lot of good things about Cesar Martinez, and I heard he wasn't even breathing heavy in the 12th round, and he throws a lot of punches from what I understand. Martinez wins a unanimous decision over Jay Harris by the scores of 118-109, 116-111, and 115-112. So there you go. Yeah. Let's talk about, I'm kind of curious on why this next fight, Wood says, let's put everybody on a Hall of Fame if Chocolatito gets in. Come on, son. Chocolatito, if you haven't heard of him doesn't mean he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
These small guys, they get a bum rap, man.
They do. That division he's in is stacked, son.
Yeah, they get a bum rap, man.
And he's beating everybody in there. Yeah, they absolutely get a bum rap.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. Let's talk about let's see here. Joseph Parker versus Shondell Winters. Parker wins by TKO in 5. Beeb, why wasn't this on the main card?
I mean, it wasn't really it was kind of like a tune-up fight, really. But Parker fought very aggressively. He did well. But the thing is this: he had his mouth open a lot in this fight. So I'm wondering if the layoff has affected him a little bit. Seemed a little bit fatigued in this fight. Although he did what he was supposed to do and got him out of there. And he really was stepping in hard with the right hand. He's landing some vicious right hands. But he was still blowing a little bit, in the middle rounds before he stopped Winters. So it's interesting to see if he's in there with someone else and he's forced to fight a fast pace and he's got to go the full 12. Will he have the gas tank to do it? Because when he fought Dillian White, I thought both of those guys showed fatigue in that fight. And in fairness, though, to Parker, did get caught with a bad headbutt too. So I don't know if that affected his. I'm sure that must have affected his condition in that fight. But in this fight, he just looked a little bit fatigued. Didn't look like he had. I don't know. It didn't look like he had his conditioning back 100%, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Wood says they call it the Hall of Fame, not Hall of the Barely Known. Outlaw, shout out to Outlaw, man. He says he's been watching the show since day 1, and he's absolutely right. He said, since you and Robbie barely knew what you guys were doing in episode 1. And as I said to Outlaw, listen, I still don't know what I'm doing, So there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Got people telling us what to do in the headset like HBO.
Yeah, I know. I wish we had a producer like that, tell us what's going on.
And you could tell, like, when Kellerman used to be on HBO and he'd be saying shit, and he'd be like, what were you saying? Oh, I gotta say that now? Like, you could see, like, he had that, like, reaction, and it's funny. Exactly.
All right, let's see here. Let's go to our upcoming fights here. Hang on one second here. Let me see here. Ryan Hong asked, do you think Jesse Vargas was the cutoff for relative opposition that Mikey can compete against at 147? No, I don't believe so. I think, like I said, man, I think that with with Jesse Vargas was a good fighter, and I thought that Garcia won. I thought he won pretty handily. I had it 8 rounds to 4. And like I said, we're talking about him fighting Pacquiao next, and I think that's a competitive fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if he beat Pacquiao. Can he compete against Errol Spence? Well, we saw it. No, he can't. Could he compete against Terrence Crawford? Probably not. But I think that's a good fight.
I don't think he beats Porter.
What about Sean Porter? Right. What about Sean Porter?
I don't think he beats Porter. I don't think he beats Garcia.
I think he beats Danny Garcia.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not really high on Danny Garcia. I don't know why. I'm just not.
Danny Garcia can punch, man.
He can, but so can Mikey, man. He doesn't have that I don't think he's got that. I don't know if he's got that put away power or not.
Yeah, Sean said the same thing. Yeah, Ryan Hong had it 114, 130. That was my scorecard.
Yeah, see, I had it 8 rounds to 4.
Sean Newton had it 6-6 too, right? I mean, this fight, I don't know, man. This fight was close to me, man.
Yeah, I had it, like I said, man, I had it 8 rounds to 4 like the judge, but
I mean, you had it like 2 of the judges, so I can't. I mean, you had a plausible scorecard.
Yeah. Boxing Freak says Porter smothers Mikey. Yeah, maybe.
I see Mikey.
We've seen good Sean and bad Sean, so
I've seen Mikey because of his size having a lot of problems up here. I don't think he belongs up at 147.
It's not a great weight for him. But at 140 again, what big money does he have down there? He doesn't have anything down there. That's what he's looking for. Yeah, Ryan Hong says I don't see Mikey Garcia beating anyone that's better than Jesse Vargas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you may be right, man. Like I said, I didn't think Chocolatito was going to win last night. So,
do you think Mikey Garcia beats Virgil Ortiz right now at this weight?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be an interesting fight.
It's a good fight.
How many fights does Virgil Ortiz have right now? Like 20?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe you could argue that maybe a little. I don't know. This could be. I don't know. I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I'll tell you that.
He was there last night, Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That's for sure. All right, let's see here what the upcoming schedule is.
Sean Newton, no way. What? Do you think Virgil Ortiz beats Mikey, or you think Mikey?
Yeah, I think that's what he thinks.
Sean Newton thinks Ortiz wins. Yeah, he says Ortiz is a killer. I got him. Yeah,
we'll see.
That'd be interesting.
Hey, just by the way, man, if you guys like what we're doing, if we're entertaining for you, man, you like what you're doing, man, you like what you're hearing, hey, you know what? Even if you don't like what you're hearing, I don't care, man. Just hit the like button, all right? Help us out here. Hit the like button, and, man, again, a lot of new faces around here and stuff like that, man. Remember to tell your friends about us, man. Get the word out, tweet us out and that kind of thing, and share our videos. You know, we don't ask too much for money, you know, but obviously if you want to donate, hey, you know, go ahead and hit it.
Super chats are always welcome.
Always welcome. Always welcome.
They help me pay the employees over here at Beeb Industries.
That's right. And Beeb has been generous enough to put us up in this makeshift studio here until our new studio is built. So, Beeb, a shout out to you. Beeb Industries doing me right.
So if you guys want to give us some super chats for Eric's new studio, it would be greatly appreciated. I mean, we're hanging and banging over here, man. We're grinding. We're grinding, man.
That's right. Beeb, what did you do? Like 5 videos this week?
Something like that, yeah. I'm trying to step up my game.
Yeah, he did like I think you did like five or so videos this week, man. I think we did one. I thought on Monday or something like that, and then we did an extra one on Monday or Tuesday, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. And then you did videos all throughout the week and stuff like that. So man, we're trying to get you guys good content here, man. Trying to get you guys. We're trying to come on and get you guys riled up, you know. That's what Beeb does. That's what I do. Try to get you riled up, you know.
And that new studio is going to be off the chain.
It's crazy. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. Beeb saw the blueprint of it, and it is nothing short of amazing. So, yeah, we can't wait for that.
Yeah.
All right. March 3rd from Thailand. This is interesting. It's a title fight, and you could probably catch it on YouTube somewhere. Knockout CP Freshmart versus Norihito Tanaka. 12 rounds for CP Freshmart's WBA strawweight title. Just in case you're wondering, that is not his real name. A lot of fighters from Thailand do this, where they'll have like a sponsor, and I don't know why they do that. I don't understand. Like,
Sean. Sean lives in Thailand. He can explain it to you.
Yeah, Sean. Why do they do that? Is it just for sponsorship, or is it? I mean, why? I've never understood that.
Do they have to change their birth certificate too, or no?
No, I wouldn't think. Maybe they do. I don't know. For the right price, I'd change my name to Fresh Mart too. I don't know. While Sean Newton is answering that question, March 6th from Dubai on ESPN Plus. Let's see here. Alilu Bamidele Lasisi versus Norberto Jimenez, 10 rounds junior bantamweights. TJ Doheny versus Ionut Baluta, 8 rounds feather. Who's putting this on? This got to be an MTK Global card. Jesus Christ. That's horrible. I mean, that really is bad. Am I wrong here, Beeb?
No.
I'm not wrong.
Unfortunately, no.
I'm not wrong.
I'm just trying to be positive.
Jesus.
But I can't.
On ESPN Plus, March 7th from Brentwood, England, Danny Dignam versus Alfredo Melli. This has got to be another one. What are they doing to us, Beeb? What are they doing over there? They're putting this on ESPN Plus.
I know.
What's going on? It's all over the place now.
I was telling someone today, even though ESPN Plus has so many more subscribers than DAZN in the United States, DAZN, in terms of boxing, puts on way better shows.
Way better. It's not even close. It's not even close, man.
I don't think it's a comparison.
That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. March 7th in New York on Fox. Adam Konoski versus Robert Helenius. 12 rounds for the WBA heavyweight eliminator. Now, is that a heavyweight eliminator for the number 1, number 2, number 3 spot? I don't know. But listen, it's a heavyweight eliminator. Who knows? But I like that fight. I like this fight a lot, man. I like both of these guys. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I like it. On the undercard here, Efe Ajagba versus Razvan Kojanu, 10 rounds heavyweights. That's a good fight as well. On the undercard before that one, Frank Sanchez versus Joey Daweko. That's a good one. 10 rounds heavyweights. And let's see. Hopefully they show all of those. Hopefully they show all 3 of those. March 7th from Manchester, England on DAZN, Scott Quigg versus Joan O'Carroll, 12 rounds.
That's a decent one.
That's a decent fight, man. Junior lightweights.
See, DAZN's putting on good cards.
Yeah, Huey Fury on the undercard versus Pavel Sauer. Why does Pavel Sauer sound familiar to me? Yeah. 10 rounds heavyweights. Anthony Fowler versus Jack Flatley, 10 rounds junior middleweights. Zach Parker in the co-main versus Rohan Murdoch, 12 rounds super middleweights. Not bad. Not a bad card.
Can't complain.
Let's see here. All right, March 7th in Irving, Texas on Integrated Sports pay-per-view. Wow, how about this as a pay-per-view card? Sam Clarkson Jr. versus Israel Doufus. Doufus sounds better. I got to be honest. 8 rounds light heavyweights. How about that is the main event for an Integrated Sports pay-per-view?
Yeah. I haven't heard of an Integrated Sports pay-per-view in a long time.
Yeah, but the co-main on there. This is interesting. Evan Holyfield versus Dylan Carson, 4 rounds junior middleweights.
Oh, wow.
Not bad, right?
Is that the main event?
No, it's a co-main.
Co-main?
Yeah.
It's the
so they're keeping Holyfield busy, and I think that's what he needs to. I think he needs to be busy. March 7th from Mexico, Golden Boy Facebook, Oscar Duarte versus Andres Garcia, 10 rounds lightweights. Let's see what else we got here. That's it. That's it for the weekend. That PBC card is going to be good. The PBC card is going to be good. Konoski and Helenius.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good card, man.
See how Konoski handles him.
That's a solid card.
Helenius tends to make guys look bad in there, even though he loses all the time.
Yeah.
He has a tendency like the fight when he fought Dillian White, and Dillian White couldn't get him out of there,
So the History Vault says you guys need to read real English Thai names. That's why I did. I went back and looked up his real name because I just know him by Fresh Mart too. But I looked at his real name. I'll just call him Fresh Mart, man, because his real name was out there. I didn't know how to pronounce it. You know what I'm saying? So what am I going to do? I'll call him Fresh Mart. It's just easier.
People are talking about that Canelo Saunders fight.
First, I'm hearing Canelo Saunders. Then I'm hearing Canelo Smith. I don't think they know who he's going to fight next. Nobody knows.
I have a feeling they're going to end up fighting Saunders.
I have that feeling too.
Yeah, I think they're leaning towards him.
It's just been the latest name on there. That's a good fight. Either one. Listen, I'm not griping about either fight. Both of those fights are really good.
I think the Saunders fight's more interesting because it'd be interesting to see how Canelo handles Saunders' style. I think it's a more difficult style for him. It would be in my
Billy Joe Saunders is no joke, man. He can fight. Do I give Saunders a chance? Ryan Hong says, do you give Saunders a chance?
No, I don't think he wins.
You don't give him a chance?
He can win, but I don't think he will. I don't think he'll win.
In Vegas, it's going to be tough.
I don't think he'll win.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I tell you what, man, I give him a chance. I absolutely give him a chance.
Could I see myself scoring the fight for him?
Yeah, that's a better. You know what? That's a better argument.
That's a better question. That's a better question.
We could see ourselves scoring the fight for Saunders. I don't know that I can see the judges in Las Vegas on Mexican Independence Day scoring it for, or Cinco de Mayo scoring it for Saunders. That I cannot see.
You know, if my scorecard was official, how many losses Canelo would have?
Can you imagine how much history we would have changed with our scorecards? Look, the Kovalev fight. We had the Kovalev. Well, you had it for Ward, but I had it for Kovalev. Yeah, I mean, just different stuff, man.
I had a dream one time that I was actually an official judge scoring fights.
I was looking up, like, I did this a long time ago. Was going to be like an actual judge, like a boxing judge. And there was a lot that went into it as far as like travel and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's always something I keep in the back burner. Like, I would love to do that. You know what I mean?
I'd love to be a judge.
I would love to do that, but
you could fuck up and you don't get called out for it either because no one cares.
Yeah, I would love to do that, Beeb, and just take bribes on the big fights and just ride around in the Lexus. You know what I'm saying?
Be taken out to dinner by guys like Don King.
Yeah, hanging out with Don King and Eddie Hearn.
He used to take the judges out to dinner before the fight.
Well, you heard about the jury. The Don King jury, He sent them all to like Hawaii or something like that. And he was like, well, they did their job. Their civic duty. They don't get paid for anything. So I figure, they've done their job. We might as well. He sent them all to Hawaii after they found him innocent.
He's fucking gone.
How is that even like legal? You know what I mean? How is that even legal?
He's gone.
It's just insane, man. It's insane. All right. Should we go? Let me go to the callers before we go to your interview with and our train wreck of the week, obviously. Or should we do train wreck of the week first? What do you want to do?
Lois? She says train wreck.
Train wreck of the week. There you go. All right. Let's do the train wreck of the week real quick, and then we'll get on to the calls. Train wreck of the week this week. You're going to be surprised by the train wreck of the week, Beeb. I think you are. Train wreck of the week is none other than the heavyweight champion of the world, former heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder. Now, listen, man, I tell you what, Deontay Wilder, he might just be early candidate for train wreck of the year. I mean, it's that bad. I mean, and listen, this is March 1st. We still got months and months and months to go, but I don't know that anybody's going to beat him. I don't even know, I'll be honest, and I'll put him to the test. I don't even know that Adrian Bronner can catch him at this point. I don't know. So, listen, man, as all of you know by now, Deontay Wilder decided to blame everyone, including his costume design, on his loss to Tyson Fury. He blamed his 40-pound costume. He blamed Kenny Bayless. He blamed Mark Breland. He blamed faulty gloves, everything else you could possibly think about. There's Kenny Bayless, that's right, who took a point away from none other than Tyson Fury in that fight.
But he still was against me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, you could tell it was pretty obvious, Beeb.
Yeah,
so Wilder has resurfaced this week and gave a very bizarre statement on social media. You saw this, right, Beeb?
I did.
This was bizarre. It was embarrassing. I don't know what to say. I'm going to read you the statement. These are his words, not mine. Hello, my people, my bomb squad, all my loved ones around the world. Just wanted to let you know that I am here. Your king is here, and we ain't going nowhere, for the war has just begun. Yeah, he's actually on camera saying this in this slow, like methodical kind of thing. He says, I will rise again. I am strong. I am a king. Can't take my pride. I am a warrior. I am a king that will never give up. I'm a king that will fight to the death. If anyone don't understand that, don't understand what it is to go to war, don't understand what it is to fight. We will rise again. We will regain the title. I will be back. We will hold our heads up high. Your king is in great spirits. We will rise like a phoenix from the ashes and regain the title. I'll see you in a few months, for the war has just begun. All my love to all of my people. Is he trying to audition for the new Black Panther movie or what?
You know what that
What
reminds-
is this? This
you know
is
what that
just
reminds
flat
me of?
out embarrassing, son.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you ever like see like you watch like a superhero episode, like a movie or an episode or a superhero TV show?
Yes.
And the villain gets like his plans get thwarted, and then he goes, "I will come back. You haven't seen the last of me. I'll come back and I'll get you." Like it was like a script out of a movie.
I think JC so far has had the comment of the night. He can't even carry armor to the war. It's like, what? He's right. He can't even carry his armor to the war.
I actually, when they start doing press conferences and media shit for the third fight,
oh, he's gonna get destroyed.
I actually feel bad for him. Tyson.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine the job Tyson Fury's gonna do on him now?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Can you
That's
imagine
insane.
the job Tyson? Like
No, I
Tyson
can't.
Fury already like destroys him already,
Yeah.
and now he's gonna destroy him even more verbally because of all the ammunition he has now.
It's nuts. I mean, I can't even fathom what that press conference is going to look like. You know how much of a clown, and you saw the video. If you guys haven't seen it, go to a social media, go Google it or YouTube it. I'm sure it's there. He looks like a complete clown, son. And that is about as nice as I can put it. He does. He looks like he's auditioning for a movie. What are you doing? Dude, come on. I mean, keep some dignity here, man. Don't just shut up. He needs a PR firm in the worst way to just cut off his mic.
And then he like kind of like makes his voice like all like cryptic. We will rise again.
You got to hear the inflection in his voice because I clearly don't do it justice. I understand that. You got to hear his voice when he's talking about it. He sounds like a complete cartoon character. Just man up, accept the loss, and say, I'm going to be back. That's all you got to say. He gives this long dissertation, about what's what. And I don't know, man.
Right.
Sean Noon says the LBDC is coming after me.
Look at Ryan Hong said he said that cousin looked like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. That's fucking awesome. I love Ryan. Oh, Ryan, you're the best.
JC said, I've been deployed a couple of times now. We carry a lot of gear. I would imagine.
I used to
I
have
would
to
imagine, and you know this as well.
Yeah, I used to have to do it.
It's got to be over 40 pounds, right? It's got to be over 40 pounds of gear.
It's probably 60.
Because you're carrying your rifle, you're
probably
carrying your
60.
sidearm,
Yeah.
you're carrying all the equipment, especially if you're hiking. And JC, you can correct me if I'm out of turn here, but I believe it's probably right around 40 to 50 pounds or 40 to 60 pounds.
It's in between 40 to 60, depending on how much you got in your pack.
Yeah. So, I mean, I tell you what, it's, yeah, I don't know, man. I saw that video and I just started laughing. I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my
It just made me
God.
giggle. I don't get it, man. What is this guy doing?
It's embarrassing, bro.
It really is. It's bad.
It's like big time embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not even funny anymore.
Well, it's funny, but I guess
Well, it's so funny now that it's sad.
it would be. Yeah, you're right. It is. It is sad. He's becoming like
A caricature.
a character. Yeah. And so the big news this week was he came out and said he's not going to. He said Mark Breland is still part of Team Wilder. He's not going to fire Mark Breland. So you don't know what you've heard a lot of rumors or whatever, but anyway, he's going to keep Mark Breland around. And I would imagine he's not going to fire JD's. They've been together forever. So what is he going to make JD's head trainer? I mean, I guess JD's is already head trainer,
he's head
but
trainer already, but
what qualifies JD's to be the head trainer though?
they don't even have a cut man in that corner. How dysfunctional is that corner? They don't even have a fucking cut man in the corner.
I don't know. And if he brings in another trainer, what's that going to say? Because he's always talking about being loyal and stuff like that. So he brings in another guy. I think he's going to keep these same two guys. And Breland's a good choice, but not if you're not going to listen to him.
Tyson Fury, like, he'll pay anyone to be in his corner. There's no problem.
He had 2 cut men.
He had 2 cut men. He paid Freddie Roach. He had Ricky Hatton in his corner the other night. And now, you know what Stitch Duran said? He's like, ask Tyson, because most of the when you're in the corner, you have to wear the gear that the corner wears.
Yeah.
And he asked Tyson, he goes, Tyson, can I wear my own jacket with my own sponsors on it? Would that be a problem? He said, no, let him do it. Like, Tyson doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
He's a good guy. I mean, it seems like, yeah, I tell you what, man, but it doesn't look good. And I mean, what do you, if you're Wilder, what are you going to do? I mean, as far as, I
couldn't
if you go in with the same people, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. Listen, he showed in the first fight, you can't box him from the outside. He lost, Fury stayed outside and boxed him. Second fight, he goes inside, knocks him out. You're kind of out of options at that point. I don't know what you do. And I don't know how you put a game plan together.
Well, here's one thing. Can you use the suit in the third fight?
Maybe he ought to wear that armor in the next fight,
Can you take the headgear off and hit Tyson Fury in the head with it, maybe?
He could try, but he couldn't land that right hand, so I don't know if he's going to land the headgear.
What else can you do?
Yeah, that's all he can do. All right, let's go to the phones here. Area code 516. Is this Jesse Rican?
Jesse Rican.
Jesse, what's up?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not Jesse Rican. This is Jose Ecuador.
Jose Ecuador.
It's Jesse Rican. Cut the shit. Stop playing games. You can't even. You think that voice is a common voice? You have the most distinctive voice on here. All right. Stop.
Didn't you think that was a funny joke? Obviously, that was a joke, guy.
It wasn't good, Jesse.
Wasn't very good. Wasn't very good. Did you get paid yet? Let's start there.
Very good.
Did you get paid yet?
Oh, yeah, he's good.
All right. Well, I did not get Brian. Come out and play.
Wow.
Has anybody seen Brian?
Just stiffed him.
Brian don't even come in the chat no more, bro. Brian don't even come in the chat no more, bro.
Who could have envisioned this scenario where 2 guys bet $200 on a fight that don't know each other, have never had any contact, and one doesn't pay? Could you have ever envisioned that scenario?
No, man, not at all.
No, look. I told Beeb I want 200 on bookie wise anyway.
Shocking.
But,
shocking. He doesn't pay you. Beeb,
so
do you think
funny
Jesse Rican? Beeb, do you think Jesse Rican would have paid?
Would Jesse Rican have paid?
Yeah.
100%.
For real? Okay. There you go.
I'm like fucking.
One guy always pays. One guy always is willing to pay. One guy is always willing to pay. One guy's not always willing to pay.
Is that movie Rounders?
Yeah.
You vouch for him? You vouch for him?
You vouch for him?
It's on you then. It's on you. I vouch for Jesse Rican, man.
It's on you then, son. We're coming after you.
I had dudes coming after you for Jesse
Coming
Rican, but
after you, son.
But I still vouch for him, man. Blood is blood.
No,
it's my son, man.
Hold on. I know you don't know me. Beeb could speak for me. I called him Saturday before the fight was happening. I called him. I said, Beeb, this guy's not answering back. What if I lose? And B said, I mean, if he don't answer you back, maybe I might have to pay him. I was like, nah, Beeb, I'm a man of my word. Beeb, am I lying on this?
You were going to use Intellis.com to find the guy's address. You were going to send the money. You were going to send the money. You were going to FedEx it.
I wasn't going to do all that, but now you're exaggerating.
He's going to FedEx.
Come on, you're ruining it, Jet. You're ruining it. Play along, kid.
So for those of you who don't know, I'll explain this story here. So Jesse Rican and Brian from California had a bet on the Fury Wilder fight, and Jesse Rican took Fury. And Brian, of course, took Wilder, and just to win straight up. No knockouts, no nothing, just to win straight up. And they bet $200, which to me was just crazy money because to me it was a 50-50 fight going in. You didn't know what was going to happen. Could have went either way. But they bet, $200, and Brian didn't pay. So Jesse Rican was left holding the bag.
Why are you laughing? It's not funny.
It's funny because
It's not funny.
you got two dudes, like I
Why you
said,
throwing
man, you got
salt in the
two dudes who
wound?
don't know each other trying to make this bet. And
throwing salt in the wound
did you
for?
know one of them? You knew one of them was going to get stiffed. I mean, it was just like common sense. You knew he was going to get stiffed.
What are you throwing
No,
salt
no,
in the
no,
wound
no.
for?
Look,
It's not funny, man.
no, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I told Beeb, I said, he might stick. But you know how I knew I wasn't gonna get stiff?
All right
You know
now,
how?
Eric.
I'm
Pipe
going to have
down.
an aneurysm over here, man.
Pipe down. Pipe down. Let the kid get his shit off.
Because you can't get stiff if you don't lose. And Tyson Fury is gonna win 100%, baby.
Listen, I used to bet this guy online before.
You
right?
You could call me the Gypsy King better. I'm the Gypsy King better.
Yo, I bet this guy online before, right? And I paid him twice, and then I won.
I'm the
And
Puerto
then he
Rican
dropped off
Wire.
the face of the earth. Right? He deleted his Twitter, his Facebook, fucking ran like he was in the witness protection program. All right? I mean, $200. It's not life changing money, man. Like you lose $200, you pay $200. It's not like you friggin' lost your mortgage and shit.
You remember when I bet Corey that first time?
Oh, he dropped off the face of the
He
earth.
just dropped off the bet. We didn't even bet money. We didn't even
my
bet money.
God.
All he had to do was like, I think if he had to call me king or something like that and say I knew him way more about it than he did.
Wouldn't even
and
do that.
He wouldn't even do
Wouldn't
that.
even do
He
that.
wouldn't even do that. It was so
Wouldn't even
weak,
do
man.
that.
I mean, it wasn't even for money, and he just dropped off the face of the planet like he couldn't do it.
We're sitting here embarrassing
I'm
the
sorry,
shit out
I
of
lost you
ourselves,
guys
smashing
a fan.
pies
I
in
lost
our
you guys
face
a
when we
fan.
lose bets, and it's like, fuck.
I got $20 as Brian still listens to the show.
Can I speak about the fight last night, though?
Yeah.
Whatever you want, man. You got the floor.
He lost $200, so yeah, you can talk about whatever you want.
I thought
You paid for your time.
unless Brian wants to come on and talk about what he wants. I'm sorry. he's not
Brian's in
there.
friggin' he's in friggin' Hawaii right now somewhere.
With his $200?
Brian's in Cuba right now.
He's in Nicaragua. He's
He
in
bought a
Nicaragua
$200
right now.
plane ticket.
Brian's in Kuwait. You ain't finding that dude.
Brian spent more money running away from this bet than he did actually in the bet. All right, Jesse did his thing yesterday. I think he won the first few rounds. My opinion.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
Gave him the first 3 rounds.
And then Mikey came back and I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was just obvious on who the better fighter was. For me, the better fight would have been if Jesse lost in the fifth. That would have made the better fight. But Jesse got the heart of a lion, of a Mexican, and he kept coming back. And I love the fight, man. Jesse. But Mikey showed a reason why he's one of the best boxers in the world. And I really believe that. I think right now Mikey's one of the best.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello?
Yes, we
got
agree.
you. We got you.
I agree. I think he's one of the best out there, man. I think that I give him a shot against Pacquiao. Beeb says no.
I think Pacquiao beats him. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, Pacquiao beats him. It's a good fight, though.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. It's a very good fight. Good stuff. All right, Jesse, we're going to get...
Pacquiao's another weird...
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say Pacquiao's just another weird creature of the sport.
For sure.
Yeah.
He made Keith Thurman look that way. I think Danny Garcia deserves that fight more than anybody.
That's what I've been saying, man. Danny
But I don't think he's
Garcia,
going to get it.
Sean Porter.
Garcia's not a big name. I mean, not...
Nah.
No, he's not a bigger name than Garcia right now.
He is.
Well,
Yes, he
well,
is.
Garcia
Yes,
never been
he
on.
is.
He never been on pay-per-view before.
Yeah, I was going to say, when's the last time Garcia been on pay-per-view?
Yeah. Garcia did some pretty good numbers. Like you could tell
No,
he was
but
a big
he'll
part
be
of
the
that
B-side
promotion.
to the fight. He'll be the B-side.
Yeah.
We sure, yeah.
But Garcia stands a chance of winning that fight, no?
Against Pacquiao? I would favor
Oh, you
Pacquiao
guys
against I would favor Pacquiao against Garcia, man. Both Garcias, to be honest with you, man. That's just me.
It's a good fight, though. The Mikey Garcia is a better fight, to me, anyway, than the Danny Garcia one.
You think so?
I think so, because Pacquiao's busier. I think so, Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao...
from a competitive standpoint.
From a competitive standpoint, I think...
The style's more...
Yes,
style
I think it's
more,
the style
intriguing.
favors Pacquiao for
More
him fighting
intriguing.
Danny Garcia.
Yeah,
yes.
Style, when he fights Mikey, it's a more intriguing style matchup.
Right.
I got you. Fair enough.
All right, Jesse Weekend, we're going to get moving here.
Big pay-per-view, you guys know?
We don't know yet, man.
We don't know.
And
We
then-
don't know.
Probably Wilder Fury 3.
All right, so I'm
There we go. All right, Jesse Weekend, we're going to get moving here. 312, and we're going to talk about this. Beeb, you got some big information on those pay-per-view numbers yesterday. And we're going to get moving here. 312, you're live.
Is that Fight Doctor?
I don't know, maybe.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status as always.
Fight Doctor.
gentlemen?
What's happening, man?
Fight Diggity Duck. My man.
So,
go ahead.
my take on what happened last night. I thought Garcia and Vargas both fought a great fight, entertaining fight. But I thought the right guy got the decision. But I don't think Garcia belongs at 147.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
The whole talk of the Errol Spence rematch, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Ridiculous.
Because,
That fight's not going to
Spence
happen,
will beat
yeah.
you worse in the rematch. Yeah, no, and nor should it, because it was one-sided the first go-round. It'll be even more one-sided in a rematch. So, but I would like to see Garcia and Pacquiao. And I think that fight actually makes a lot of sense for Pacquiao and Garcia. I think it's a winnable fight for Garcia. And I think Pacquiao, if he's going to continue on with his career, I think the Garcia fight is probably the most winnable fight for him, as opposed to fighting someone like a Crawford or Spence. And I think it's probably the most marketable fight for Pacquiao, fighting a Garcia over a Crawford and maybe even possibly Spence. So I would like to see that, and I would pick Garcia in that fight. I think at this point in Pacquiao's career, somebody who's solid fundamentally and has a nice right hand, a guy like Garcia would beat Pacquiao, even if Garcia isn't a true 47 pounder. I think Garcia has, his skill set and enough where he could present Pacquiao with some problems.
I agree. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a pick'em. My opinion anyway. I think it's a pick'em fight. I really do. I like it. I like the fight, and I quite honestly, I'll be honest, man. I think that's the next fight that's going to get made. I think they're going to make that fight.
Yeah. And the only other thing, and I'll leave you guys with this, is Deontay Wilder. My question is, like, listen, I thought the guy was a true believer, and I still think he's a true believer. I think he believes in his ability. I think he is committed to the fight game. But is he going to be realistic in his approach to the rematch or to the rubber match? Firing Mark Breland is not going to win you the fight. It's not going to win you the rubber match with Tyson Fury. It's just not. If anything, I think you should probably fire your whole team, because they sent you in there woefully ill prepared to deal with what Tyson Fury brought to the table. And at the end of the day, the only person and the only thing that Deontay Wilder can blame for the loss of Tyson Fury is the person staring back at him in the mirror. That is who is to blame for that performance and how woeful you look in losing a one-sided affair, Tyson Fury, is the person staring back at you in the mirror. That's who is to blame.
Facts.
Okay? And, you know, me personally, if I were his manager, I would fire his whole training, everybody. Breland, the other guy, who's the head trainer, whatever his name is.
JD's.
I would fire everybody. And bring in all new people. You know, like, and I would just think, like, who would be a good, you know, match? Somebody who could tighten up Wilder in the areas where he's deficient. Someone like maybe, I don't know, who's the guy who trained Andre Ward? What's his name?
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter, yeah.
I forget his name.
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter. Okay, maybe bring in a Virgil Hunter, you know, or someone like that. But yeah, sitting him out there and that performance, and where was the plan B? I just don't get it. Where was the plan B? And you blaming the suit of armor you were wearing or whatever the hell? Yeah, just no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that guy he's gonna have to come down off of planet Wilder, come back to planet Earth, and inject some real and inject some reality into his whole career. Because the shit that he's doing now is not working. Sorry, but no. Okay, you've been getting by beating the B class opponents. Now you have to beat somebody off the A list. So now what? So, gentlemen, I'll leave you guys with that.
All right, Fight Doctor, thank you so much. Beeb, I got to be honest, man. I you know, he says that you know, you can bring in Virgil Hunter, try to tighten him up, listen. There's nothing he can do at this point. He's again, I'll say it again. He's 34 years old. He's had 40 some odd fights. You're not going to change that guy. He does what he does, and Fight Doctor says, why was there no plan B? Quite simply because they can't execute it. Listen, he's got one. There's never a plan B. Listen, he lands one punch. That's it. He looks for his right hand. Yeah. That's it. We could listen. Arthur Spiltzka, Gerald Washington, Louis Ortiz. The list goes on and on of guys that he was losing to until he found the right hand. There is no plan B.
And you've been saying this for a long time. There's going to come a time when the right hand's not going to work. It's going to fail him. Then he's done.
And then that's it. And what are you going to do? You got a guy that took your best shots, man.
No offense, but again, you're 34 years old. You're going to be 35 soon. All right? And the last thing to go is your punch. But the first thing to go is your legs.
That's a very good point.
That's
a very good point.
And again, that's like having a silver bullet with a gun that keeps jamming up. What good is that silver bullet if that gun keeps jamming up? You can't put yourself in a position to throw that punch anymore once you start losing your legs. And he's at a point now where maybe he's starting to slowly but surely lose his legs.
Yeah. Boxing Freak 91 says, credit to Wilder, though. That right hand took him to crazy heights. It 100% did. And, I mean, you have to be amazed, you know, when you sit back and you think about it, how many guys he was able to knock out with that right hand, even though he's losing that fight. You know, I mean, it's insane. I mean, it really is insane.
The only fight that he was winning before he threw that right hand was against Charlie Z.
Well, Charlie Z landed that body shot. Yeah. And I thought he was doing good footwork and everything like that. I was going to give him the round on that body shot alone.
Think Charlie Z stole that round because the body shot?
I think he might have, but he went down. So, I mean, obviously you have to get to Wilder, and he knocked him out, so you got to give it to Wilder. But Charlie Z, he was putting up a fight in there. I tell you what, I wouldn't get in a ring with Charlie Z. No way. That's a mean guy. What about you?
I don't know, man. Charlie Z's, I think you could surprise him.
He's a legend.
Just got to get off first. You know the funny thing? He goes like this thing. He'll walk up to somebody. He goes, "You want a box?"
And he just pops him.
And he gives him. And he'll be handing him the gloves. And before the guy can put the gloves on, he just pops them. Oh my god!
The best videos of when he goes in there and gets stripped. You know, like that one dude. I think there was that one dude. I guess he was. I don't know if he was an MMA guy or what. But he was boxing with him, and he was taking cheap shots like the bell would ring, and he would cheap shot him and stuff. And then he ran out of the ring, and the guy tackled him and just like put him in a choke or something like that.
Or time out. Wait a minute. Time out.
Time out.
Take a break.
760, you're live.
Man, it's about time. What's going on, fellas?
What's happening, man? Is this Brian?
What's happening?
Is this Brian?
Yes, sir. What's going on? I'm back.
You got the check for Jesse?
I'm here.
I
ain't going nowhere.
You got Jesse's check?
What you need me to do, man?
You got Jesse's check?
You guys, a check.
Check.
What,
Please,
I got cash. What's up?
Okay. You got Jesse's cash?
Brian's a real man, son. Got to give it to him. He's a real man.
What you need me
Not
to
like
do?
me. I would have just welched on it, Brian. I would have just totally welched on him. Beeb is going to send you.
You guys was murdering me.
It was all Beeb, man. It wasn't me. Come on, Brian. You know it wasn't me.
Everybody was. Hey, you guys was like talking about Wilder being a train wreck of the week, right? And then you guys turned me into the damn train wreck. I'm like, they murdering me.
I told Beeb behind the
like
scenes,
that,
Brian.
Hey.
I told Beeb behind the scenes, I was like, Brian's a real man. He's going to pay. Beeb's the one talking all the smack. You know how Beeb is, I mean, that's how he does things. That's how he does people.
You guys murdering. Dang, man. Put me in a bag. Shit.
Beeb's going to send you.
you know what, man?
Beeb's going to send you, I guess, his address or something like that. Or what are you going to do?
I sent Jesse your email address, and he was supposed to email you.
Okay.
What's your email address again?
Okay,
I'm gonna text it to him right now. What's your email address again?
You want me to say it on the phone? You want me to say it on the phone?
It's up to you.
Say it on the phone.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. You got an email address, right?
I'm gonna put my email address in the chat, and you can email me your email address in the chat.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't mind people have my email address because I'm a businessman. All right.
Okay, we'll do it like that then. That's cool.
Here's my email address.
I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong.
Here's my email address right here. It's in the chat. It's my name, J.
Cool.
JHAB isn't in boy, E isn't Edward, E isn't Edward, B isn't boy, #1@hotmail.com.
You still got a Hotmail address?
Yeah, I love Hotmail, man. I'm old.
What's wrong with you, son? That's you might as well have a Prodigy account.
Yeah, man.
AOL.com.
I'm still on MySpace.
He's still on MySpace.
Sean's cracking on.
Sean Newton killed you.
Sean's cracking on me now too.
Okay. I'll definitely have to get a tip then because I gotta pay for this one. That's for damn sure. Damn, I fucked up.
I told you he would come through, Eric. Man, why are you dumping on the dude? I told you.
You was killing him, Beeb.
I told you he was I told you Brian was a real one. I told you Brian was
cold-blooded.
I told you Brian was a real
Lois
one.
was like, Beeb, you need to lay off him.
I told you Brian. I told you Brian was a real one.
But you know what? You know what the good thing about this is, Brian? You know what the good thing about you see what kind of person Beeb is now. You know what I mean? You see what kind of person Beeb is now. You know, he just trash you.
Yeah, because he was killing me. Him and his homie, they was killing me. Both of them.
Right.
No, I was only kidding, Brian. I wasn't serious.
It was only
It was all in fun, bro.
All in fun now, huh? Don't backpedal now, Beeb.
But you know what happened? Look, man. Let me tell you about the fight, okay? Let's talk about. Can we talk about the fight? I know.
You can, of course, Brian. You can talk about
the fight. $200. You can talk about anything you want to talk about.
You had to mourn for a week or so. You had to mourn for a week or so. You're back now.
Can I talk about the Wilder fight? Can I talk about the Wilder fight?
Yes.
You most certainly can.
What had happened was, I jinxed it. I jinxed him. I shouldn't have never bet.
It's another excuse.
Didn't did it. It was me. I jinxed the whole.
He said it was another excuse.
Did you give him? Did you give him?
That's what happened.
Did you give him? Did you give him the soup, Brian?
Look, man, I wasn't. Listen, look. I wasn't sitting on the left side. I should have been sitting on the left side. I was sitting on the right side when I was watching the fight. I jinxed it.
What did you think of that 40-pound costume excuse?
Then it did. I mean, man, I know one thing for sure. He didn't have no legs. He just seemed like he didn't have no legs in the fight. Like, you know, through each round, it was like he was losing his legs. But, you know, he be saying he don't jog. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
What's he do?
You know, he needs to jog. Maybe it's, what's that?
He doesn't jog. What does he do? He doesn't do any road work?
He just started
He
skipping
swim.
rope again, too.
Nah, he swims. He swims. Like,
So
you
that's-
know, swimming is cool, but
Man, that doesn't
that's
translate,
crazy.
though.
No,
That doesn't
no road
translate.
work.
That's crazy, man.
Nah, you need the road work. I mean, like, that's part of it. Just get up in the morning time and jog. You know what I'm saying? Just get up, go jog. You know, he talking about he don't jog. I'm like, he losing his legs. I mean, man, he had Bambi legs, huh?
Look like a deer out
It
there,
was
baby
crazy,
deer.
Man, but so what are they gonna do? A rematch or what?
Yeah, they're gonna do a rematch. They're gonna do a
rematch.
rematch. How about that? They're gonna do a rematch of that. He exercises his
That's
rematch
good.
clause.
I don't blame him for doing the rematch, to be honest with you.
That's
They're gonna
good.
cash him out. That's what they're gonna do. He's gonna cash out because he ain't beating Tyson again, man. There ain't no
That's
way.
You think he could go the distance with Tyson, or you think he gets
Oh, you
done?
want to bet?
Not with you.
Hey, I got you, bro. Hey, what's his name? What's old boy name?
Jesse Regan.
I got you, homie. Don't trip, homie. That's his name, right?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Jesse Regan. I'm
I
sure
got
that's not
you,
his
bro.
real
Don't
name.
trip. Jesse.
It's on his birth
I
certificate.
got you, bro.
It's on his
Don't
birth
even trip.
certificate.
Hey, but man, you know, hey, look, man, I was, you know, you guys ain't seen me in no chat. You ain't heard me on no phone. I mean, come on, man. Let me just. I had to absorb this shit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I was watching it.
I tell you what, you know, I'll be honest,
'Cause
man.
I
didn't either. I didn't either, man. I was like, what is going on?
Now, Brian, did you have to get any?
couldn't
Did you have to get any counseling after this loss? Or no?
Yeah. I had to figure out, is this a nightmare? You know what I'm saying? It took a whole week to figure out this ain't no nightmare. This
Yeah,
ain't a
man.
dream. This real, homie.
How good is Tyson
This
Fury?
real.
Man, I've been telling you guys about
He's-
Tyson
he's
Fury. I've been telling you
insane.
guys about Tyson Fury for years,
Oh,
man.
man.
Well, like I said, man, I thought it was a pick 'em, man. I picked Wilder to maybe tag him or
Look.
whatever, but man, that was
how
insane.
confident was I? How confident was I in Tyson Fury, man?
Yeah, you were from
Hey, how
the
did the
get go.
event do? I haven't. Hey, how did the event do? Did they do good on the sales and selling out? Because I don't
You wanna say
even- I ain't
1.2,
been keeping
Beeb?
up with
I think
nothing,
when
really.
it's,
How did they
I
do?
think, I think when it's all said and done, when all the numbers are finally in, I think it'll be over 1 million.
Over 1 million.
Yeah, I think it'll be over 1 million.
Yeah.
If history is
That's
right,
good,
because
right?
yeah, because every time they
Yeah,
count
it's
the
not bad.
every time they count big pay-per-views like this, like even when Joshua fought Ruiz, Joshua Ruiz too, the first projected number that they released the day after the fight or 2 days after the fight, it was 1.28, and then it ended up coming in at the following week it ended up coming in at 1.54. So in a week's time, 256 more pay-per-views were counted. Same thing with De La Hoya when De La Hoya fought Floyd. The first number was like 2.12, and then like 2 weeks later, the number came out at 2.4. So generally, the numbers take a little while to get counted because you got 9 different outlets distributing the fight. It's hard to count it all. Even the satellite takes longer to count than the cable because the way the pay structures works, you know, the billing structure is different. So I think it's gonna do well over
It
$1 million.
seemed like it drew a lot of attention. It seemed like it did pretty good. It seemed like it was a good event, and you know that's not too far from where I'm at, right there in Vegas. I'm wondering where the rematch gonna be, if it's gonna be in Vegas again.
Are they gonna? Would they say they're gonna do it now? Were they gonna do it in L.A. the rematch or the new?
I don't know.
The new Raiders Stadium or something like that.
Oh, wow, that would be good. Will it be ready by July though? The Raiders Stadium?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not.
Well, you know what? I don't know
July,
because
that's when they're talking about.
Yeah,
The
Hold on,
Raiders,
wait a minute.
the Raiders
You
are
got
supposed to
six.
move in there
Five?
this season, aren't they?
yeah, I think so.
It should be ready by July, I would think.
Yeah, they're thinking about putting it in the new Raiders.
That's a
stadium.
nice stadium, man. That's
what
a
I heard. I don't know. I
beautiful
mean,
stadium.
That's been floating around.
Sean Newton says the MGM again. Yeah, that's a good venue for it too. Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't think it would fill the Raiders
Man, I'm
stadium
kinda-
though.
World War Champs says the Raiders Stadium is done.
Oh
You
wow.
don't think so?
Yeah, I mean,
No, I mean that thing was
Hey,
what is
so
it,
you
seating
think,
60, 70,000? No, it ain't gonna sell that many.
Hey, so
Probably not.
let me ask you guys. Like,
go ahead.
okay, we watched the number 1 guy beat the number 2 guy, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure because, I know everybody ready to throw Wilder under the bus,
I'm not
I'm
ready
like,
to say.
man, let
yeah,
him
I'm not
get
ready.
his second shot.
I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to say that Joshua beats Wilder.
Yeah,
I'm
I think that's the best fight out there. I mean, as far as fighting goes, I mean, I think that's a really top level fight, man.
I think Fury could do that to Joshua too.
Yeah, I like Joshua and I like Joshua and Wilder. I think that fight is the fight to make, honestly. But Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, man, that fight's going to go the same way. Whatever you saw, I mean, it's going to go the exact same way.
I could see Wilder. I could see Wilder hanging in there the third time, but not. I'm not 100% sure that Fury would stop him in the third fight.
And what's he going to do different? He's got nothing to do different.
No, he'll lose the fight, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Wilder can't do anything different.
The first round, he didn't do bad in the first round. Everybody keeps saying he got whooped on from round 1 to round 7, but he didn't do too bad in the first round. Maybe I really think it's his legs. I mean, to me, I'm not saying making no excuse on no costume. I'm talking about the road work. You know what I'm saying? What you need in the long run.
Yeah, but should he
need that road work, man. He got to.
Should he have put on 20 pounds though for this fight too? He put on 20 pounds. Was that smart?
That was what we talked about. That was what we talked about prior to the fight too. I was worried about it. I was worried about it with both guys, but I specifically mentioned Wilder with that 20-pound gain from that first fight. That ain't good because you're not used to carrying that weight, and it's a big adjustment.
I mean, the thing is, though, the thing is, it don't matter what he puts on at the top if you ain't holding it down on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You need some legs to hold up the top. So if he's putting on the muscle, it's you part-time in it right there. If you ain't working on them legs, you got to get that roll work in, build up. I mean, do some squats. I mean, it's all kinds of drills in boxing to build up your legs. You know what I'm saying? He's got to do more than just swimming, and maybe he'll have better chance in the next fight with his legs.
I tell you what, I got to be honest, man.
Because we got to be honest, man. We got to be honest. We've seen his legs just like, I mean, you guys didn't look at the fight and be like, what's wrong with this dude? Like,
well, there could have been something wrong. There could have been something wrong with him. There could have been something wrong with him. Like, just like there was something wrong with Joshua supposedly in the first Ruiz fight. And he may be able to come back better. I mean, it's not impossible that he comes back better in the third fight. I just don't think he beats Fury under any circumstances.
No, I don't either.
Fury will definitely be favored. Fury will definitely. They'll still give Wilder a puncher's chance, but they ain't gonna look at it as 50-50 fight.
But why would you want to always pin your hopes on a puncher's chance?
That's all he's known.
It's like
that's all he's known, B.
It's just I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's even though they talking about, people was defending his trainer Mark Breland for not for throwing in the towel. What about when he was in the corner with Wilder, really not giving no instruction? Like, can we criticize the trainer on that? Because that kind of was like a reflection.
JD's was giving the instruction in the corner from what I saw, and he kind of took over the fight, giving him the instruction. And JD's instruction was terrible too. Move forward and throw the right hand. He couldn't do either. He couldn't do either because he's getting pinned against the ropes, and there was no talk of spinning off the ropes, moving in circles, nothing. Nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And again,
yeah.
man, it doesn't matter. To me,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what Wilder does, what he brings to the table. He fights like he fights. There's nothing anybody's going to do to change it. They're not going to put a wrinkle in this game. Listen, if you can't learn a jab under Mark Breland, who, you know, again, was quite possibly the best United States amateur to ever been, then who are you going to bring in? I mean, Mark Breland's a top-notch guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't learn basics from that guy.
You know, when he's doing the mitts, you know, I'll be watching him, you know, throwing his little stuff on the mitts, and I notice, you know, these dudes are saying they getting hurt and all this and that. I'm like, that's because they not working on speed with him, speed combinations. That's why they need to start making him lighten up on the pads instead of, because you heard stories, Beeb, about him hitting the, you know, him doing the mid work and dude getting hurt and dislocating the shoulder, and you know what I'm saying? All them crazy stories. Like, a trainer shouldn't, you know, he shouldn't be hitting the mitts like that. It should be more of quick, you know, pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm talking about, Beeb.
Well,
you throw the combinations, you know, quick, move ahead, find another angle, slip.
Watch what JD's does when he's doing the mitts with them. He has him stopping and starting, throwing 2-punch combinations instead of having a fluid, just being fluid.
He got.
There's no fluid offensive. There's no fluid offensive sequence. JD's will sit there and go, okay, right hand, left hook, and then stop, right hand, left hook. There's no fluidity in the punch.
You know how long it takes to learn that, though. That ain't something he's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
Anytime. I mean, if he hasn't done it in 40-some fights, how is he gonna pick it up in 2 months?
It's not complicated. It's not too complicated. If he got the right kind of person, you just, you know, a good person, you know, a good trainer will tell him the opposite of what he's doing and do it light and fast. And when you're doing it light and fast, that's how you get off combinations faster. And he'll like it, man. That's what he needs to learn, is just combination punches. It won't be difficult if he got the right person, but we see he don't got the right people to teach him that. You know what I'm saying? So even though he's relying on one punch, you know, maybe they're not teaching him the in-between, because I've watched them, like, man, they're not teaching him combination punching. He don't know how to, you know, really set up that shot he's looking for without that combination punches, you know?
Well, it could be, too.
That's why it's like
they're just not suited for him. I mean, as far as this training style and everything like that, maybe he needs a different guy in there, like a change, but my guess is that he's not going to do that. He's going to keep the same guys and not bring anybody else in, and you're going to see the same result. You know, the same Wilder, you know? So, all right, Brian, we're going to get running, man. All right, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, man.
I got you, man. I got you, bro. All right.
All right.
Brian's a real man. I'll tell you that.
I told you about him, Eric. He'd come through.
I told you. You were bagging on him the whole time.
You don't want to listen, man.
Talking about he ain't gonna pay. He's a deadbeat and all that other good stuff, man. That was messed up, man. Beeb's jacked up. You see how he treats the callers, right? That's how Beeb is, man.
Whoa.
That's messed up. That's why Coach C don't call anymore, because Beeb was talking about him, man. That's messed up.
Coach C got tired of wearing you out every week.
I was wearing Coach C out like a rented mule, son.
Whoa.
Every week, son.
Whoa.
Hey, where do the best callers come from?
IO. My man.
Ohio, what's happening?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey. Long 2 weeks for me. To be exact. It's been crazy. Great caller, man. The last guy was on.
Yeah.
Man, that's talking about that Wilder too, man. First of all, the fight this weekend, I'm gonna jump into that, man. Jesse Vargas and Mikey Garcia. I thought it was gonna be a split decision type of fight, and I was almost close. I think some of the cards was 116, 111. I thought that was a little too wide, in my opinion. Jesse impressed me. I think Jesse impressed me. Both of them.
Good, man.
Me too.
Jesse, he kept his jab going up and down, and he was just consistent. And, you know, we hear Mike Tyson saying is when you get hit, everybody has a plan until you get hit. Well, Jesse got hit, and he stuck to the game plan. He never changed up with what he was trying to do, and I respect him for that because it kept him in the fight, no matter what people say.
Yeah.
It was a real close fight. I think Mikey looked. He had his moments too. Mikey did look good. I think that's still impressive for you to move up to 147 and able to drop the guy. Period. That's impressive. So I was definitely impressed with him, man. He got touched up, but Jesse was a big guy, man. So I thought that was a real interesting fight. He's talking about Crawford. He'll take on Crawford. I think he'll take on anybody. I actually wrote that on my post. I think he'll take on anybody at 147 right now at this point in his career. And I think it'll be good for 147 division. So if he's there now, he might as well stay. Don't go back down to 140. You might as well just stick it out.
Yeah.
So that fight was good. I didn't watch too much of Chocolate Tito's fight. I watched like the first 5 or 6 rounds, and I just changed it. He was winning. The guy gave up. I don't know if he knocked him out or not, but I just knew Chocolate Tito was going to get that fight. The guy gave up the boxing ability. He stayed in the inside, and Chocolate was just, Chocolate Tito was just outworking, and that's not your fight you want to do when you fight Chocolate Tito. Stay on the inside. Good win. He's back to being a champion. I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? So no hate here when it comes to that. I think y'all talking about Wilder and Fury still, man. And, it's been a long 2 weeks for me on that one.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a lot of stuff, man. Going back to that one. I heard people ask me, should he go back into the immediate rematch? I don't think so. And I'm a Wilder fan,
Yeah.
I think y'all both, you and Beeb, have already touched on it as, what he needs to work on. And because I'm the first one to say it. I've been saying on a lot of these different podcasts once. What I saw Saturday was domestic violence. That's what I saw. It was some domestic violence going on up in there. And it looked like one fighter coming in here with a game plan and the other one just know exactly what was going on. And I'm glad I made my prediction video the way I did because I still had Wilder winning, but I kept telling people, Tyson Fury hurt him in the first fight. Tyson Fury was doing good when he was pressing forward Wilder. And I think most people who know boxing can agree and study this thing and been in it. It's like Tyson Fury don't have to be a power puncher to really, to hurt somebody and really put on the fight. Sean Porter wasn't when he first fought Errol Spence. You bring it to the dog. You bring it to the boogeyman. Canelo is not known for no knockout punch power or nothing, but he brought it to Triple G. Even though Triple G still did good in the second fight because he went from Mexican and he turned into a Cuban. You see what I'm saying? So, you bring, what I mean? You bring it to him. You bring it to the monster. It's a different story, and you have to bring it to him. And I think that's what concerns me about Wilder. I definitely think he got his story leading all the way up to here. The heavyweight division, it's been amazing. It's still not over, but it's been amazing. And I feel like now, after that first loss, everybody is just smelling blood now. Now everybody wants you. They see what Tyson did. They see Tyson stand up to it. It's almost similar to Mike Tyson. I heard a lot of people still this day still take credit away from Buster Douglas by saying, well, Tyson wasn't in the gym as much. He wasn't training. I said, well, Tyson had a lot of knockouts where he wasn't training as much. He created a bad habit. But I still don't think he beat Buster Douglas on that day. Buster had a good excuse as well. He lost his mother. How many people have lost their mother going into the ring, then get knocked down? He had every right to lay down, but he didn't. He got back up. So, you can't really try to take that away from him. But the excuses from Wilder, I'm not all for him, man. It's like the more he was talking, the more I wanted to go hide deeper into I was like, oh my God. I just couldn't do nothing. It's like I support him, but I can't defend it. I heard Beeb have his little party. I listened to him, and he was right on a lot of stuff. Another thing I'll touch on, him calling himself king. People will get mad about that. And, oh, man, it's WWE tactics. Listen, I feel like he was addressing his fans. I think for people to really literally take him calling himself the king is just beyond me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury called himself king. why are people taking it literally like he's really talking about being a king over somebody? I never look. No man is really a king over me, but I shouldn't have to say that. It's entertainment. I know Mike Tyson, when he says he's gonna eat the kids, it's not really talking about eating your kids. He's not really gonna eat the kids. You gotta understand it's a boxing term, man. It's boxing terminology.
Right.
When do we got a lot? These guys are saying it seriously. You know what I mean? Tyson told Razor Ready, it don't count unless he's dead. It don't count. The brand don't
Yeah,
count.
I remember that.
Dead. You know?
Yeah, I remember that.
No, but people, right, but people kill me. It's Wilder said he wants the body. I'm like, bro, it's still part of entertainment. I don't take them too seriously. I don't take a lot of these fighters too seriously when they're talking, and it's part of the entertainment. But if you want to have fuel to hate the fighter even more, go ahead, use that type of fuel just to keep you going for the hate that you have for the fighter. Oh well, so let that just be it. But as far as me, I'm a supporting, but it's going to be hard. I'm a realist. It's going to be hard to come back and beat Tyson Fury an immediate rematch.
Yeah.
This is not no Andy Ruiz and AJ where, you know what I'm saying, AJ showed us that he got a plan B. He always had a plan B when plan A didn't work. You've seen it in the amateurs. So I just don't know about Wilder and this plan B. He has to get more people in there to show him, and it's been hard. Most of his wins is coming off guys intimidated by him. Stand on the outside, and he's hitting them with that extended right hand. He has never really faced nobody that just bring it to him. And now everybody is talking about, oh yeah, I can see AJ winning, or I can see Glenn White beating him. I'm saying, oh, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. Because them guys, if he would have fought those guys before Tyson, they probably would have been on the outside trying to box as well. You know what I mean? And not really putting pressure on them. But that's probably one of the blueprints. I just want to see him change and change up, and hopefully, we get a good redemption story. But this is going to be hard, but it makes it very interesting too, because we have never seen a guy like this in the heavyweight division go this far. You know what I mean? It's an amazing story. Go this far with the limited skills he has. I'm a Wilder fan. I've heard it for years, 6 or 7 years following this guy. He only can do this and he only can do that. And it wasn't like they were lying. He got better over the time. Now he did get better, but he got so comfortable with the 1-2, with that right hand, and that was just fact. It was just fact, man. And once it's taken away, it's like that's when it becomes domestic violence. That's when I start seeing. It's just like you seen his arms swinging. It was like girly. It was like, oh my goodness, man. It was like he didn't look like he knew what he was doing, and it was embarrassing. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my goodness. I remember when he got knocked down, and I'm going to make it short right now. I remember when he got knocked down in the fight, and I think I told you, I don't know if I told you, but there was a woman sitting next to me, and her popcorn fell out of her hand and fell down the same time Wilder was hitting the canvas, man. It was so crazy. It was slow motion.
No.
Oh, Black History Month. No.
Oh, Black
Hilarious,
History Month.
Man.
Yeah.
No, it didn't have one guy got mad, was like, it's Black History Month. They threw a white towel in to save the guy.
A
I was
white
like, oh
towel.
my God. So it's always humor, man.
That's funny,
Crazy,
man.
It's crazy. You know me. But if it's funny, I'm laughing. But that's just how it is, man. Wilder. I don't even think I talked to y'all about it. But yeah, it is what it is, man. He's got to try to bounce back from it. But he got to go back to the drawing board. Focus on him, and doing what he got to do to try to get that belt back. But I would take a tune-up. It's time to build your confidence up, because you taking on the man who took your right hand 2 times and got up. Yep. I don't think it's smart to go into a match with a guy who can absorb your right hand. That's
I agree.
my opinion, man. But that's my call, guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much for calling, man. The best calls always, Beeb, come from Ohio. I told you. He's always got good stuff, man.
Damn straight.
So from the best calls, we go to this call from Rikers. Georgie, You're live.
Listen,
happening,
I
baby?
didn't came here to talk no goddamn fucking boxing.
Oh.
I didn't came here today to not talk about no fucking boxing.
Well, tell us why you here.
Shit about no fucking mafia. Fuck Fury. Fuck Wilder.
Well, tell us why you here.
What's up with that coronavirus? That's what the fuck I want to talk about. Do you prepare already?
What?
Translate
you
that,
prepare
please.
already?
Yeah, we prepare already. Yeah.
We're prepared. Yes.
Yeah, we're prepared. Yeah, we prepare already. Yeah, we prepare.
Bro, a month from now, I'm gonna be calling here. First thing you know, you pass out or fucking Beeb pass out. No more fucking Ringside Reporter because you guys don't want to take the necessary fucking requirements and preparation for this fucking pandemic. The fuck?
Is he talking about the coronavirus, Beeb?
Trying to save you guys, and this is what you're talking about. What happened with fucking Wilder? Fuck Wilder, nigga. You check the stock market.
What's he talking about?
What you see that? Nigga, did you see when was the last time you saw China fucking quarantining 80 million motherfuckers?
Oh my God.
Dude, Eric, do you know how many cases they got in your fucking state? Do you know?
Like 3?
Not even.
Like 3? I don't know.
Not even. You don't know.
Are you worried about catching the coronavirus? That is why you called us up. You're worried about catching the coronavirus?
Yeah. I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for the listeners. I'm looking out for people who gotta be looked out upon because you guys too gaggable to motherfucking. You guys slipping. The fuck you waiting for?
No, I'm not gonna be able to leave the house. I'm not gonna be able to leave the house tomorrow morning to go to work because of this.
Now, but all serious, man, people. Are you guys not fucking petrol? Tell me you're not scared.
I'm a little bit scared.
For the coronavirus? It's the flu.
Hell yeah.
It's the flu. That's all it is.
I'm a hypochondriac.
It's not the flu.
It is the flu. It's a hyped up version of the flu.
I don't.
Eric downplays everything.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you a couple facts that you don't
Didn't you
know.
hear what Trump said? Didn't you hear what Trump said? Trump's not even worried about it. He said they got it all under control. We got to believe him.
Oh, yeah, like that motherfucker gonna tell you the truth.
Oh, my God,
like
you
you
gotta
go
believe
to
Trump.
fucking airline, they're gonna tell you they're not gonna sell your fucking ticket to go to the infestation. Like you call the cruise fucking people to sell your fucking trip in a cruise ship, they're not gonna sell it to you.
That's funny.
Stop it.
Oh, my God.
Stop it.
Wow.
Listen, you gotta watch the news, baby. It's gonna be too late. By the time motherfucker catch up with Shay, it's too late. Listen, that shit can leave in a surface for 10 days. Incubation period is 24. The contagious rate is fucking over fucking 100%. You don't have to even touch the motherfucker. Just be in the same room with cat.
So just take some Sudafed when you get it, man. It ain't that big of a deal. I'm telling you. It's not like, not like herpes or AIDS. You don't carry it around like luggage, son. It's the flu. Ain't a big deal.
Dude, that got the delivery system. This virus got the delivery system of AIDS. Are you following these numbers? You're not even following it.
Do you realize?
You guys sleeping. Everybody's sleeping like this shit is.
Do you realize that more people die from the flu each year than coronavirus?
That's the most stupid fucking statistic you can ever fucking pull out. Motherfucker, this shit is new. How could you make a comparison if all the people who haven't
It's
died
not
yet from the
new,
disease?
son. It's not new. It's been around for years. You heard of SARS? You remember SARS?
No,
That was a mutation. That was a mutation of the coronavirus.
It's not the
Do
same
your
as
research, son.
COVID-17. It's not the
Let me
same
tell you
as
something.
COVID-14. It's not the same.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to put everybody
Not
at
even
ease.
close.
Shh, I'm going to put everybody at ease. I had dinner with 2 doctors last night. Granted, the doctors are my brother and sister, okay? But I had dinner with 2 doctors last night. They both said the coronavirus, it's really like, it's nothing to really to get into like a big tiff about. You know what I'm saying? Wash your hands, do what you do. just like you would protect yourself against the flu, get a flu shot, all that other good stuff. Listen, these guys are doctors, Georgie.
Did you get the flu shot, Eric?
No.
I
live on the edge, Daddy. Scared of no coronavirus. I keep the coronavirus up at night, son. That's what I do.
If he told you, listen, if he told you to take a flu shot, that kind of my bitch doesn't know what he's talking about. Because a flu shot will not make a difference.
Yeah, right. What's he know? He's just a doctor. I mean, what's he know?
Yeah, I don't get the flu shot either. I don't trust
Yeah,
them.
I mean, they're just doctors. What do they know? I mean, whatever. It's not like they went to medical school.
There is not a stupid doctor in the world.
They don't have. Well, the chances that I had dinner with both of them last night is probably not, not likely.
Everywhere. Yo, you sleeping?
I'm tripping.
This dude's crazy, man.
Oh, what happened? We lost him. He just dropped. Georgia, you dropped.
Oh, shit. Good.
Well. It's a spirited conversation. But he was talking about the corona, but the thing is, like I said, both my brother and sister-in-law are both doctors. We had dinner with them last night. We were talking about it, and it's just another virus. It's like I said, it's a mutated. The coronavirus has actually been around for years and years. It's not new, but this is a different mutation of it. That's all it is, and it's supposed to attack your chest, I guess, affect your breathing. But if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. There's not much you can do about it. You know what I mean? So
how do you get rid of it though?
It's it's just like getting rid of the flu. Some people go. I mean, some of them, I guess, they're putting people in quarantine now, trying to keep it under bay. But 98% of the people who catch it are surviving it. That's a statistic that nobody else. They want to hold out everything else. You can wash your hands. You can do. I mean, wash your hands. That's the biggest thing. It's overblown in my opinion. That's just me though. I don't know. Just me. You know how the whole thing started?
Oh.
You know how the whole thing started? Let me tell you what's crazy. The whole thing started, they said in Wuhan, China, in the Wuhan, Georgie said not true. In Wuhan, China, in the Wuhan market, they kind of, did the patient zero thing or whatever, tracked it down to a bat because they eat bats over there. Like in the Wuhan market, they have it's like Chinese delicacy. They like dogs over there. They eat cats. They eat dogs. Bats are a real big delicacy over there, and that's apparently where it came from. They're serving bats to eat at this market, and there it is. So,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's different for us, but hey, listen, man, I thought about it too, and I was like, wow, how can somebody eat hyenas and bats and everything like that? But then you sit back and you think about it. I don't know what they do in Lebanon, but I know in Mexico, they eat tacos de lengua. Anybody knows what tacos de lengua is? It's tongue tacos, beef tongue tacos. Oxtail soup is another one. They eat it from
oxtail. Oxtail's awesome.
Yeah, you're eating a tail of a cow,
Yeah.
So all those crazy things, lamb, everything like that. I mean, in Europe, they eat horses. Horse meat's a big thing over there. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everybody eats their own stuff. So, I don't know. I guess, there it is. All right, Beeb, let's get off this coronavirus thing. So let's talk about something interesting, like your interview with Bob Arum. The Beeb, always. It's kind of, you got his direct line. Just call him up. Say, hey, what gives?
Yeah. Well, the thing is this. He's the guy that was a big part of putting the pay-per-view together, the event together. And everyone was trying to say how bad this pay-per-view did, how much of a loss everyone took on this event. But if you really look at it, and you crunch the numbers, I mean, like, who lost? Who lost? Because this fight is well on its way to gross over $100 million. So how is that a loss? And you hear people say things like what the fighters are making, and every time I call and I ask Bob Arum like how much are the fighters making, he doesn't know, because there's a lot of variables involved in what these guys make, because again, the promoter gets the money from the network. Okay, they get the money from the advertisers. They get money from the venue. They get money from the TV rights that they sell to other countries. So before the guarantee is even determined for the fighter, they get all that money first, okay, and then they determine how much they're going to guarantee the fighter, and then any revenue earned off the pay-per-views past a certain amount, then the fighter gets a percentage of that. The promoter doesn't even get it. Doesn't even get that, okay. The promoter gets the guarantee, gets the upfront money from the broadcaster. So another thing too that people are confused about is they hear projected numbers and they run with the projected numbers as the final numbers. And Bob basically supported my statements, and he said, we have 9 distributors that we worked with for this fight, and it's going to take time to count them all. And he also mentioned about the digital buys and this and that. And it takes time. And I've showed you, like, every time to get final pay-per-view numbers, you can never get them the week of the fight. The final numbers usually come in 2 to 3 weeks after the event. History has shown us that. And history has also shown us that after an event, when the numbers are put out for the projected figures, they always go up a couple 100,000. More history has shown us that for fights this big, of this magnitude, they always go up. So Bob Arum is not worried about losing money on this fight, like everyone keeps trying to say. Oh well, Bob's going to lose money. Like it's almost impossible for a promoter to be involved in a fight like this and lose money, because again, they get money up front before the event even takes place. That's how they're able to give the fighter their guaranteed purse. And as far as we know, we don't know officially what Tyson Fury is going to get. We don't know what Deontay Wilder is going to get. How people come up with this $25 million, this $28 million, when only $5 million was reported to the commission. And I'm not saying that number is 100% accurate either. But to come up with a number and just assume that it's 25 or 28 million, and based off of that, to say that this event is going to lose money, it's ridiculous. Do you know how much the TV rights are to these fights, to fights like this, when they sell them to different countries? They're like countries will have to, like a country like Australia that will pay to get the rights to this fight. They pay up in between $200,000 to $300,000. So if you're selling the rights to this fight to other countries at $200,000 to $300,000 a pop, and then you're adding in the sponsors, then you're adding in the gate, then supposedly from what he was telling me that the UK numbers were phenomenal as well. They were like 800,000. Mm-hmm. And that's just a projection. So who knows what the final numbers for that will be?
Right.
So this fight will probably be the biggest heavyweight fight, highest grossing heavyweight fight in history. And people are shitting all over it.
Like they're in the room. I think you mentioned in the interview, like they're in the room when the contract is signed, and like they're privy to all this information. They just know what their sources tell them to do. And what do? You and I mean, what do we do? You go straight to the source.
And I'm gonna name drop because I do this all the time, and it's nothing personal, but this guy Mike Coppinger, he puts source in front of a headline, and then he just writes a headline, and everyone just runs with it. Like, when are you guys gonna learn your lesson? How many times is this guy gonna be wrong? Okay, yeah. Even Michael Wood said, "Yeah, we got bum numbers."
Yeah,
he said the source was wrong. And credit to Mike Woods for saying that.
Yeah.
Credit to Mike Woods for saying that.
That's the thing, especially when you hear it from the horse's mouth. And why don't they go and get it from the horse's mouth? You know what I mean?
Because they want to be first.
That's the thing.
And they want to get and they want to get clicks.
Smarty Jones says Aram is lying about those numbers.
Yeah, of course he's lying about those numbers.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying about it.
Because he's lying about the numbers because it doesn't fit the narrative that you want to believe.
So let me ask you this. Let me just pose this question to Smarty Jones. Is it more apt that Bob Arum is lying about the numbers or Mike Coppinger doesn't know the numbers? I don't know. Come on.
Well, why would what does Bob Arum need to save face for?
Right.
What does he need to save? What does he need to save face for? He already, like, again, the promoter gets paid by the network. He's not using his own money to pay these fighters. So how is he trying to save face? I don't understand. Like, what?
It doesn't matter.
I don't get it.
I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't, I mean, listen, we can go to the horse's mouth all day. Coppinger will be getting for PBC. Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah, Coppinger has no affiliation with PBC. He actually has an affiliation with DAZN. So
Right.
isn't it ironic that all these people are like Coppinger and Chris Mannix, guys who are affiliated with the DAZN, they're trying to shit on the pay-per-view model, but how is the streaming model working so far? Is the streaming model turning a profit?
We don't know. I don't know. I haven't talked to, is it John Skipper over there at DAZN? I don't know.
Bob Arum said that they won't see a profit from ESPN Plus until 2025.
Yeah.
That was his statement.
And again, man, the thing is, look, I mean, we can only report what they say. And when we go straight to the horse's mouth to find out, and he gives us that information, I'm more apt to believe him and not a guy like Coppinger who gets it secondhand from somewhere else or just quote sources. Listen, we said, hey, Bob Arum said this. We talked to him. Bob Arum said this,
This event was a success. It's gonna end up being probably the highest heavyweight grossing fight of all time.
Smarty Jones says DAZN is hemorrhaging cash. How do you know? Have you seen their financials? You have no idea. You don't know. I don't know. All new businesses like that take huge losses for years. Maybe not. I don't know. You're not privy to their financial information.
But even if the zone is taking a loss, the company that's backing them, which is the Perform Group, they're a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right.
Okay, so they're making money hand over fist in other endeavors that they're involved in. Just like even if ESPN was to take a hit on this, do you think ESPN is gonna be in trouble because they took a hit on one event, no. or they didn't make money on one event and they only broke even on one event?
Right.
You think ESPN's gonna have to file for bankruptcy? Like, you guys, like, everyone wants to like have the sky is falling type mentality when they talk about shit like this. Like, everyone's a drama queen. It's just ridiculous.
I don't understand it. And everybody's a financial wizard after not talking to anyone, and they know the numbers and they know how much people are losing and everything like that. So I don't know, man.
Coppinger is an opportunist. He'll align himself with anyone that gets him the story.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That's just how he is.
I don't know.
Exactly, D-Style. The 1.1 million to break even talk is ridiculous. Again, the promoter doesn't have to break even. It's about the network. The network pays the promoter, so the promoter's not losing money. The only entity that could lose money here is the network. The promoter the promoter is not losing money, unless he uses his own. Bob Arum has his own pay-per-view arm that he has, Top Rank pay-per-view. Unless he uses his, like, when he put Terrence Crawford on top, he had to use a Top Rank pay-per-view, I think, for one of Terrence Crawford's fights. Yeah, then he's in position to lose money. But if he's in a partnership with ESPN, okay, he's in a partnership with ESPN. ESPN is putting up the money for the Tyson Fury fights, okay? So they're making an investment based off, they're trying to get a return on their investment through pay-per-views, ESPN is. So it has nothing to do with Bob Arum losing anything. Like when you say break even, they have to break even. Who are you talking about? It's not Bob Arum losing money here. Like, you guys don't get it. So, but Bob said the numbers are probably going to be in the 1.1 and 1.2 range when everything is counted.
And that's what makes sense. I mean, it would make sense.
And if that's the case, and you add in the UK pay-per-view, like you add in all of the revenue streams, this fight has the potential to gross in between 120 and 130 million dollars. And if that's not a success, then I don't know what to tell you. Lewis Tyson, I know that you have to factor in inflation and all that, but Lewis Tyson grossed 112 million.
So at 800, I think I figured it out, between 800 and 850,000 buys. I think that equated out to 34 million. It was 34 million because you know how it's $80 and they have to half that with the pay-per-view market. But maybe they do and maybe they don't, because the digital, I believe they don't have to half that at all. Correct? That I don't know, but I know with cable and I know with DirecTV,
I don't believe they do. And here's
they have to half that.
I don't even think it's half anymore. I think it's only 40% now. I could be wrong, but I think it's 40% now.
I don't know. But I know at half, it equated to about 34 million or something, or 36 million or something.
But the promoter's not paying. They're not paying the cable company. The network is. The promoter's not doing that.
Smarty Jones has said if it grossed 120 million and both fighters were guaranteed 50 million, again, you don't.
They weren't guaranteed
50
50 million. That's a lie. Bob Arum did not confirm that. Again, you guys hear something and you all you're looking for is confirmation bias. You're going to grab the stories that you want to believe.
Right.
And
again, and I think you hit it on the head in that interview. You said, people talk, people report things like they're actually in there reading the contracts.
Bob said himself that nobody knows how much either fighter is getting.
They know how much they signed for, but they don't know,
No, he said that nobody in the press knows how much each fighter is getting.
Makes perfect sense.
And he's the one that's paying his fighter. So if he didn't tell you how much his fighter is making, then you don't know how much his fighter is making. Because I can guarantee you right now, if I ask Bob how much is Tyson Fury getting, he would say, he wouldn't answer me. He wouldn't tell me.
Right.
Because he doesn't tell people.
You don't tell anybody what you're saying. He's old school. And
he doesn't tell people what he's paying the fighters.
Right. And which only makes sense.
He's not like Eddie Hearn that likes to friggin' talk shit like that. Bob, I've known Bob for years. He will. I don't even ask him how much people are getting.
No,
I don't. I stopped doing that because he won't. He won't answer you, and these guys know he won't answer them. So that's why they try to talk to other people around and whatever, and that's why they can't go to Bob because Bob won't tell them.
Yeah,
he won't tell them.
That's it. But all in all, though, if you guys haven't seen the interview or heard the interview, go to YouTube, ringsidereporterlive.com, and check it out. It's Beeb interviewing Bob Arum. It's about 10 or 11 minutes long, not too long. But
Smarty Jones, those reports were false. Bob Arum said those reports were false. Nobody knows how much the fighters are getting, because the people that are paying the fighters will not tell these guys how much they're making. So this is why they make up these sources, or they go to these people. And you hear what Bob said? He goes, I said, Bob, why are all these people coming out with all this stuff? How are they getting this information? He goes, it depends on who they're talking to. They're not talking to me.
Right.
They're not talking to, I'm not telling them this shit.
Right. So, I mean, again, man, it's, we go to the source and we tell you what the source says. And
he'll never tell you.
You don't believe it. What are you going to do? We can only tell you what the source tells us, and we're going to the source. If you don't want to believe it, I don't know what to tell you, So, hey, what are you going to do?
Bob will never tell. If Mike Cobridger called up Bob right now and asked him how much he's paying Tyson Fury, Bob will not tell him.
No.
I guarantee you that. And Al Heyman won't tell Cobridger either.
Yeah.
Because it's none of his fucking business what these fighters are making. It really isn't.
And Bob is the one that also, Beeb actually broke it, that the Wilder actually invoked his rematch clause And, of course, there will be a third fight. And we had that news on Saturday, early Saturday. So there you go. And that's why we go to the source for things. Crawford is set to return on June 13th. Terrence Crawford, but opponent has not been named yet for him. From what I understand, he's going to try to get a top welterweight. I mean, he's trying to. Whether he can or can't, we've heard names batted around, Chris Van Heerden, that kind of thing. I hope that fight doesn't happen, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's see here. Maurice Hooker versus Regis Prograis was announced this week, set for April 17th. Beeb, that's a good fight. It was a very good fight. Very good fight. Very good card.
That's
so there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. You can catch me on Twitter at Ringside73 or find our YouTube channel at RingsideReporterLive.com. And we will see you guys next week.